Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Kayla and it's time to crack into a good book. So today we have a fun little video challenge that Ola from Ola Magic Reads created recently. The idea behind this is that instead of creating Frankenstein's monster using like the best pieces of people, we're going to create our own Frankenbook based on our favorite books. So now Ola used a Goodreads shelf that had like all of her favorite books. I have not organized myself super well, so I don't have a favorites shelf on Goodreads. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm sorting all of the books that I have on Goodreads by rating, and I'm just going to look at all the books that I've rated 5 stars. So there's a large number of them. It turns out there's like 557. So in order to pick these books, I'm going to basically use like a random number generator to pick the page number and then the book number on that page based on how I've sorted it on Goodreads. So I'm going to be generating my random numbers using R, which is a programming language. So the first part of our Frankenbook challenge is to find what genre this book will be. So I will be going on to the 3rd page and the 19th book. On the 3rd page, the 19th book down is Evie Drake Starts Over by Linda Holmes. This is like a contemporary romance that I read earlier this summer, and it was really cute. I loved it, obviously. Basically, we follow our main character, Evie, who is recently widowed, and she rents her, like, a spare apartment, or a spare area of her house out to this guy, Dean, who's a former Major League pitcher, but he has the yips and, like, basically can't pitch anymore. So they make a deal where Dean won't ask about Evie's husband and she won't ask about his baseball career. And so they become friends, and I mean it is a romance, so you can guess what's going to happen there. It's just very heartwarming. It was really cute. So our book is going to be a contemporary romance. The next part of our book challenge is the setting. So I am going to page 23, book 11. The book that this corresponds to is The Invisible Library by Genevieve Cogman. So The Invisible Library by Genevieve Cogman I've talked about several times on my channel already, and this is the first book in the Invisible Library series. So the premise behind this, there's like this library that collects unique books from alternative worlds. So this particular one takes place in an alternative London that's kind of chaos infested, so meaning that there's like a whole bunch of fey creatures. So that sounds pretty fun. So far we've got a contemporary romance set in an alternative London with fey creatures. So next we need to choose our main character. Page 10, book 15. So page 10, book 15 corresponds to The Beast's Heart, which I will get. It is right behind me. So this is by, I think, Leaf Shallcross. So this is just like a Beauty and the Beast retelling. So our main character this is actually told from the Beast's point of view. So that's kind of fun. Alright, so we have the Beast as our main character. So then we need to pick up some secondary characters. We have page 18, book 2. So that corresponds to Innocent Blood by James Rowland. So this is the second book in a series that's like kind of about vampires, and it's been a while since I've read it, so let's see. Ooh, okay. So I think our secondary characters will be this group that's like an immortal order founded on the blood of Christ and tasked with protecting the world from the beast haunting its shadows and waiting to break free into the sunlight. I mean, I feel like this is kind of coherent other than the contemporary romance part, but so we have a romance set in an alternative London with fae, where our main character is the Beast, and we have some sort of group that basically like has to protect the world. Okay, so now we need to pick a villain or a main issue. So for this we have page 21, book 1. Corresponds to Disappearing Nightly by Laura Resnick. So this is an urban fantasy series that I really like. Basically, the premise here is our main character is a struggling actress, and this takes place in New York. So she receives a warning to not appear in this off-Broadway show because there's evil among us. So she joins up with some people, and they're basically trying to track down these missing performers. Alright, so I think our main issue here is that people in a show are starting to disappear, and there's just like some sort of overall evil. So then we need some tropes that will happen in our books. So the first trope we have corresponds to page 23, book 15, which is, so that's going to be the golden compass. So I think that this means that we have magical animal companions, which is pretty awesome. I am on board with this. Our second trope that we will choose corresponds to page 20, book 15, and that is Red-Blooded by Amanda Carlson. So this is an urban fantasy series where I think our main character is a shifter of some sort. It's been a while since I've read these. So I think our second trope is basically going to be going to the underworld. Okay. I feel like, yeah, these are mostly coherent. All right. So then we need a third trope, and that will be page 1, book 9. So that corresponds to One Good Night by Mercedes Lackey. So this is like I think the second book in a series that like kind of deals with retold fairy tales. So in this series, there's like, tradition that like kind of charts out the normal fairy tale course, and people, like if they have certain traits, they'll like fall into these traditions and be forced along this path to like basically live out the fairy tale, and that's not always good. So this one, there's like a dragon, and the traditional answer to this is to sacrifice a virgin, and so our main princess, or our main character who's a princess, is chosen for this. So she then has her champion Sir George to help her out, and they're searching for the dragon's lair. So I think we're just gonna have like a retold fairy tale. Ooh, I mean we already kind of do with the beast. So this is okay. Let's see. We need to choose a writing style. So this will correspond to page 10, book 18. So this is the Myth Manifestation by Lisa Sheeran. This is one of the books in the SPI files, and it's like an urban fantasy series that I've talked about a little bit. But basically, our main character is a seer, and she can see through like illusions and glamour of various fake creatures. So, what is this one about? So the writing style here. Lisa Sheeran's books are like pretty funny and like fast-paced. So I guess our writing style is just going to be funny and fast-paced. All right, so finally we need an ending to our book. So this is going to correspond to page 17, book 7. So that's Lady Night by Tamara Pierce. So this is the fourth book in the Protector of the Small Quartet, which like I loved. So like obviously I don't want to spoil the actual ending to this series, but I think we can just like generally say that this is the last book in a quartet of books. There's a lot of like, fulfilling destinies. So our ending is going to be the last book in a quartet, and there's some sort of fulfillment of a destiny. So I feel like for the most part this is pretty coherent. So we have a contemporary romance set in an alternative London where there are fae creatures. Our main character is the Beast from like Beauty and the Beast. Our secondary characters is going to be some sort of immortal order that is in charge of protecting the world. And our villain, or our main issue, is that we have performers disappearing, and there's like some sort of evil that we have to fight against. So in this world, we have animal companions. We're going to be going to the underworld, and there's some sort of retold fairy tale element. So then this book will be written kind of like funny and fast-paced, and it's going to be the last book in a quartet that is about fulfilling our destiny. So that actually like sounds pretty good. The contemporary romance part is like really the only thing that kind of doesn't fit in this world. But yeah, that actually sounds like something I would read. I like it. I need somebody to write this book for me, I guess. But yeah, so that was an entertaining tag. But anyway, so I'm going to tag some people to do this. Obviously, like, if I don't explicitly tag you and you want to do this, feel free to consider yourself tagged, because I think this is just a really fun challenge. So I will specifically tag Kat from Brews and Reviews, Scott from Book Invasion, from Chelsea Palmer, and then Britt from Basically Britt. So I think this will be a very fun challenge to see you all do. If you have some thoughts that you want to share about my theoretical Frankenbook, feel free to do so. You know, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to give it a big thumbs up, as that would certainly help you out. I hope you're having an excellent day and are reading something awesome, but I think I will wrap it up here and see you in the next one.